I know this is only your second one, but I'm still looking on the back page.
We don't want him to elaborate more.
No, it's certainly not a complaint in any way, shape, or form. All right, let's call the meeting to order here, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to the Pittsfield Town Council, the regular meeting for October 17, 2023. Invite everybody, please stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. So, before I ask for a moment of silence, I'm sure everyone has heard, read a couple of items off Chief of Police's release. Everyone has heard that young Zach Noble was found passed away this morning at MCI. He was a Pittsfield resident. He graduated MCI in 2015. He was a member of Pittsfield Fire Department since 2010 and served as an EMT at Unity Ambulance. So with that, I would ask for a moment of silence, please. Thank you all very much. And our thoughts go out with his family. Certainly a sad day here in Pittsfield. So, let's move on, shall we please? Let's go on to number 4, adoption of minutes. I'll look for a motion for adoption of the regular meeting held on October 3rd, 2023.
I move we adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of October 3, 2023.
Second. Moved to second. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments, council?
I just, I had some concerns about the brevity of the minutes. That it really, it's very, very brief. I don't know, well, 2 questions. One, all the votes were taken by roll call because I was on Zoom, so does that need to be reflected in the minutes?
Yeah, we that probably should be an amendment made. Yeah, that's a good point.
And especially the reports, like the audience reports and the counselor reports, it doesn't encompass any of the actual content of what citizens may have brought to the council or concerns that the councilors had during the reports or anything like that. I know Eric had brought up about the snowmobile club and the funding for that and everything, and I think sometimes when we have items like that, it helps to have it in the minutes because it jogs our memories when we go back to the next meeting to be able to kind of have those to look back on.
Yep. Yeah, I certainly think we can do that kind of a bullet point type of thing. Yep. Just highlights and try to stay away from narrative.
Yeah, not so much narrative, but just like things that are mentioned that may need follow up or anything like that. That was my only.
Anything else? All set? Heather? Mm-hmm. Anything else, council? Very well. Hearing none, essentially the vote. All those in favor of adopting the minutes of the regular meeting held on October 3rd, as mentioned, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. The adoption of the minutes have been adopted. Adoption of the minutes have been adopted. Let's say that twice. So number 4 is complete. Let's move on to number 5, presentations, congratulations, and introductions. Jacob, anything you'd like to bring up at this point?
Nope.
Okay, very well. Let's move on to Hearings.
We have none.
There are none for this evening. Very well. Number 7, reports. Town manager report. Jacob, if you will, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to our Public Works Department for their assistance in getting back the council chambers cleaned out last week. Donnie and his crew have been extremely helpful since I have been here, and I am thankful for the work that they do for our town. I had a good meeting today with our auditors. They were in the office today working on the 2022 financial audit. They'll be back in the office tomorrow, and we are working on a plan to get the audit moving forward. That's not necessarily going to be a short process. We're looking at a single audit this year versus what's called a yellow book audit. And a single audit is far more tedious than what a yellow book audit would be. So we are certainly working on that. Thank you to Jay Laux for taking me around town this past week and introducing me to some of the individuals that he has connected with over his time working on the summer concert series. I enjoyed meeting with business owners and continue to be impressed by the many wonderful things that Pittsfield has to offer. Paving, we received the unfortunate news this week that Northeast Paving won't be able to complete all of the paving scheduled this year due to the large amount of rain and inclement weather that we've received. We are not the only ones in this boat, as they've had to push multiple jobs back, including work for the DOT and also for the City of Bangor. We do have a letter from them saying that they will honor the same pricing for the 2024 season that was originally quoted for the 2023 season. And lastly, I have extended a letter of offer to the candidate for the full-time code enforcement officer position, and I am awaiting his response.
Fantastic. That's great news. Quick question, if I may, on the paving.
Sure.
The contract that we have with them, there's parts that they won't be able to get done this year. Will they honor it when the weather gets cleared up? I mean, or are they going to give that money back for that part of the contract and then have us put it back in the budget? I mean, what are we thinking on that?
We've only paid for the paving that they've completed.
Okay.
For the 2023. So one of the issues that's popped up, we also have a culvert and a bridge issue that was for one of the streets that are going to get paved. So we're waiting for Plymouth Engineering to get us some bid specs back. So this might be a blessing in disguise for a couple of the streets that we had for pavings, rather than having a screech and halt and having them come back for 1 or 2 streets in the spring. I think the grinding and the paving, first thing in the spring, they'll come in and complete the rest of the work, and we'll pay them the balance of the money when we're happy with what they've done. So there is going to be a substantial increase from what I understand for paving for next year as far as cost per ton, but they are going to honor this year's rate. So they did put that in the letter that it would be the same pricing and we would get the same work done for the money.
So they said they'll honor this year's rate for all the paving for next year, or just what's left to do?
Just what's left on the 2023 paving. I tried. We tried.
Great minds do think alike, okay?
That was one of the questions that did ask, is if we had any plans forward to do any more next year, and what that was looking like. And I said, it's up in the air. We're in the budget process. So I said, stay tuned. So.
Heather.
I had a question. Part of that paving contract was there was a fee if they didn't complete it by a certain time. I know we had discussed it before, but I don't recall if we actually voted to set that aside, especially now that we know that they're not going to be able to complete it. Do we have to go ahead and do that, or is there another amendment that we need to make to the contract to reflect that? I mean, they're a reputable company. We can take them at their word, but I like things
well,
in
there
writing.
there was a penalty that we had talked because we had done it so late the year before. And I had talked to the previous town manager. I think we're all set with it. With this, is just that there was 49 days of rain. So
everything.
The scope of the work. I mean, compared to what we've done in the past, I didn't see no sense to try to squeeze them in. They did last week call and said, I've got a few days. If we got a few days of rain, maybe we can squeeze it in. But with the temperatures getting down in the 40s already, I chose not to. We shouldn't assess that. The DOT's waived theirs on their on the order substantial, some of them $10,000 a day, and they waive them in sight of the weather. It's something we can't control.
It's reasonable.
It's reasonable.
So I just wanted to make sure that we had done that if we needed to, or amended the contract to reflect that they will come back first thing in the spring and finish the work.
I think at a minimum we should have something like that. And it brings up a good point, some force majeure clause in there, so I don't know if there isn't one in there anyway, but I don't know if you normally have one for paving.
Yeah, we can
But
just...
49 days of rain is kind of an obtuse.
Yeah, we can at least send them a letter stating that our new timeline would be, before, if weather pending, that if we could get it done before the 1st of June, or when they open up in May to June 15th or something, give them a timeline to get the rest of the streets done.
So, Jacob, do you suppose you could quantify what's left and write up a letter, kind of, this is what's left, here's the pricing that we expected, this time?
Yep.
Whatever, however you want to put it in there. So,
We'll get it done.
and, as Heather said, it's not that we don't trust them, they're a very reputable company, they've done well by us, but, I like seeing paper too.
Yeah, we'll definitely
We
get
can
it
do
done.
that.
The days of handshakes are unfortunately long gone.
I had a quick question on that. Can we get the final list of roads that were on that?
I most certainly can. Yeah, the ones that...
We had never seen that, and
Yep.
residents ask us what roads we're paving, we tell them the wrong ones, because we didn't
Right,
know.
so we started with an initial list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, never got the final one, so that'd be appreciated.
I will have that ready for the next one.
Would that be something worthy put on the website?
We can certainly do that.
I mean, if you feel it's necessary, because
Yeah,
people may ask
people have
questions.
thought.
I've already had someone ask me about North Main, so that's part of the system, part of
Yeah.
the PPIs. Oh, well, I didn't know, because there's a lot more to it, so.
Well,
People have no time, they see other roads getting really nice and doing a great job, so how about this road, how about that road?
And one of the
You
things
can't
that's
please everyone.
tough to explain too is because we get that a lot. My girls get it a lot. And to simplify it, it's tough because, well, it's a state road. They do the road maintenance, and Jerry simplified it. He says, it's pretty easy to tell. He's told the girls upstairs, if there's stripes on the road, white lines and the yellow lines, they're state roads and not town roads. So if your road doesn't have the striping on it, then it's a state road. And yes, you can call, and on your behalf, we can make a call, but a lot of times making that direct call gets a lot more gumption, because we've called before and it's been 2 weeks before, and we've made multiple calls for just potholes. So if a citizen calls, they have to document it. They got 24 hours to fix that problem.
Yeah.
So
You just disguise your voice.
yeah, I've done that before. We did that the last
Didn't
time
worry
when we
about it.
paid from House all the way down to the industrial park.
Yeah.
Like I said, they got like 6,500 calls. 1,000 were me. This is Mrs. Collins.
This
Is
would be
it
one
possible
place.
to also put that contact information on the website with the paving information?
Yeah, we could do
I
that. I think that would be helpful.
simplify it for residents and maybe relieve you of many phone calls. And the
Yeah.
girls upstairs too.
I think that would be
It's
helpful.
really fun when they call and start screaming at you on the phone because there's a hole in the road.
And it's not
Only because they know it's you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they discriminate. Do they?
No.
All
And I
right.
explained to them that it's a yellow line in the center of the road, it's not ours. Not our problem.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob. So let's move on to number 8, old business. There is none scheduled for this evening. And let's move right into number 9, new business. And Nicole, if you will, to start Resolution 2397, please.
Resolved that the town council approve the opening of absentee ballots on November 7, 2023 at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. for the November 7, 2023 state referendum, Somerset County referendum, and the Pittsfield municipal election.
I'll look for a motion from council, please.
Move we accept resolution 23-97.
Second.
And a second. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments on Resolution 2397? Very well. I'll close to public input. Council, any questions or comments? Very well. Here are none. I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of excuse me, Resolution 23-97, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-97 passes. Nicole, let's move on to Resolution 23-98, please.
Resolved that the town council appoint Nicole Nicolon as warden and Tina Farias, Hillary Bubar, and Brittany Matevio as deputy wardens for the November 7th, 2023 state referendum, Somerset County referendum, and the Pittsfield municipal election.
I'll look for a motion from council, please.
I move we accept resolution 23-98.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the audience this evening? Very well. I'll close the public input. Council, any questions or comments on resolution 2398? Pretty much a housekeeping motion. Very well. Here none. I set the ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 23-98, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-98 passes. Nicole, let's do resolution 2399, please.
Resolved that the town council appoint members to fill the vacancies on the various town boards and committees.
Look for a motion from the council, please.
I move we accept resolution 23-99.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. I think we have one person, Ellen Chawiski. No, that's not the way it's spelled. Ellen, if you're listening to me butcher your name, my apologies. Ellen C. Look for a position on recycling committee. That's from 200 Chester Street here in town. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Very well. Council, any questions or comments? You have the information in the packet. So I think what we probably should do, Doc, if you want to modify your motion and accept resolution 2399 with the name of LNC for the recycling committee. If you will, please.
I modify the resolution 23-99 to appoint LNC to fill the vacancy on the recycling committee.
Second.
Moved and seconded. You didn't want to say the last name either, did you?
No. I saw it and I don't
Okay. I don't feel so bad. Thanks, Doc. All right, Council, any questions or comments on the revised motion? All right, very well. Hearing none, since we're going to vote all those in favor of resolution 23-99 with the name of LNC for the recycling committee, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-99 passes. Thank you very much, LNC, and my apologies for butchering your last name. Nicole, let's move on to resolution 23-100, please.
Resolved that the town council authorize the town manager and the public works director to advertise for sale the town's 30,000-pound Volvo excavator and to send such excavator pending town council approval to sell, such excavator pending town council approval. Funds raised from the purchase to be put into the public works and water sewer capital equipment reserves for future purchases of equipment.
I'll look for a motion from council, please.
Move we accept resolution 23-100.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. Any details you want to fill in on this, Donnie? Anything you needs explanation?
Just a real quick brief thing is, in the past it was determined at a point in time that we were renting excavators at the rate of $5,000 to $6,000 a month for multiple months during the summer to do anticipated projects, and because of that expense we thought it would be cheaper for the public works and other ones involved to buy an excavator. Well, first of all, the excavator is probably a little bit too big for what we need to do for work. And at this point, for maintenance costs, we just had a little small issue with the excavator that was about $10,000. It's getting to be a pretty expensive piece of equipment to maintain. It's not a specialty piece of equipment that we couldn't rent, pending that we plan future projects. So when we're doing the rent, we're getting the most of our money. At the cost that it's going to cost us for future maintenance, I think it's just something that we need to look at. It's a different direction going in. I think we're more efficient, more organized now that we can organize projects when we need it and rent the piece of equipment we need, and we don't have to worry about the maintenance costs or let it sit out in the snow for 7 months of the year. So I think this is a good move for the town.
Okay. All right, anyone else in the audience have any questions or comments on this? Very well, I will close to public input. Councilors, any questions? Yes, Doc, go ahead.
Donnie, what was the cost initially, and what's the expectation that you might get from selling it?
If I'm thinking right, I think it was right around 100, Catherine. Is that what we paid for it? It was around, I think it was around 100,000 for the initial purchase.
A little bit less.
Yeah, just a little bit less. Right now, and again, I'm looking to advertise at 90. I said, and realistically, it's a newer excavator. It hasn't got that many hours. I think that the price is negotiable. We've obviously put some hours on this out and used it, but I would like to see us offer at 90, and if we've got an offer for 80, I think it goes. Right now is a perfect time. Construction companies had a great year, and a lot of people are looking to dump some of their profits into capital expenditures. So this would be the time to list it if we wanted to sell. So time is of the essence. If we wait, I think till after the first of the year, it's the start of a new year, and with the economy and stuff, people are a little wary. So I think that will probably be a quick sale.
Does Snowman's want to make a trade?
Well, he's got one just like it. He's got 3 others. We said the same thing. We were thinking the same thing, but he's got plenty of them over there. And just to throw this out there as well, with the working relationship with Snowman's, he's got those other excavators over there, smaller and bigger, and he's said that a lot of his set, and he's even offered to rent excavators to us cheaper than some of the rental companies. So we have another option there. So again, networking is huge. We've also got a new house in the area that treats us very well. By new house construction, there's a lot of them that treat us really well. So I think things are looking good.
Yeah, and that other upstart company across the street there.
Yeah, the little small one.
Yeah, the mom and pop across the street there.
And they've been very helpful too.
Yeah, they have historically been doing very well.
They have a few pieces of specialty equipment if we need them, that's for sure.
Yeah. And they
An
bought
extra
it.
80K in the coffers now, along with the bag.
Right.
Go ahead, Jason.
Do you have like maintenance records for this over the past 4 years? Or?
Yeah, because everything we did buy it from Chadwick Bay Ross, and they've done all of our services and all the repairs. So yes,
Okay, I think that would be helpful for us to
sell it. Definitely.
see. Although if we're making a decision tonight, it might be too late. But
Well, he's going to go out to sell, but it won't be approved until it comes before the council.
Correct. You guys.
It has to come back to us anyway.
Yeah.
If you guys decide.
sure, you wouldn't really want to go out to sell if you decide you're not going to sell at all. But no, I mean I think it makes sense. So it'd be nice to see those. So, I mean, the $10,000 part is that like a once in a lifetime part, or is it a
That could go tomorrow.
What's that?
That could go tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What year is this actually?
It's 2012, right?
I think so.
2012.
Okay.
And the other thing that you guys want to remember too is that Volvo that we just bought from O'Connor had a small hole in the muffler, and this is where we're headed. And this is what's scaring me, maintenance costs. The muffler, we had to have it specially ordered. There's only one in the country. It's $3,000 for a muffler. So it's going to get worse. Some of the parts that are being priced are scaring me. I don't know how people are going to keep vehicles on the road.
Okay.
Keep what you got, and if you've got something that you don't need, that's going to cost you more to fix down the road. Again, efficiency is hopefully, and this is hopefully an efficiency.
It sounds like you guys are thinking other than the traditional option, so that's good to see. Anything else, Council?
So,
Yeah.
I think I brought up buying the excavator to begin with because we were spending like $16,000 a year is what sticks in my mind for renting equipment. Along with this, we also bought a trailer to move it. and we just bought a dump truck to haul it. I know you're gonna use the dump truck for other stuff with the plowing that's coming and everything. Are you gonna sell the trailer as well?
The trailer is a very versatile piece of equipment. If you haven't noticed, if anybody hasn't noticed, our backhoe, Volvo backhoe loader tractor, we've been trucking that.
Okay,
and
so you're gonna
driving it.
keep that, it's not like a
yes,
package thing?
we can use that to haul culverts to job sites, that trailer is gonna be very versatile. We can haul anything, any piece of equipment, the mower, the tractor, we talked about it the other day, we have to go down to the Johnson Flat Road. Rather than driving that all the way out there for an hour and a half and all the way back for an hour and a half, we can truck it out there and bring it back.
So it's that.
Again, efficiencies, again, looking, and the guy beside me, Jerry, has been very good. He's been a great choice for the foreman. He brings a lot of knowledge in and sitting down, and he knows that tells me the finance guy. The finance crunching numbers and crunching money and efficiencies, and hopefully we're on the right track. We're going to get the most for our money.
So do you have a ballpark idea of what we paid for maintenance in the last 4 years?
Oh.
$10,000 part, which boggles my mind.
Wait, that's a $10,000 part.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, we had a truck coming, a service truck coming from Chadwick Bay Ross to put that part in. And he's $250 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had to get the counterweight on it. I had that somebody with him work with him the entire day to get the counterweight off the back and put the part in. So you're talking cost probably around $15,000
Yeah.
for a machine that sits 7 months a year and has maybe, this summer we may put 200 hours on it.
So what are we going to be looking at as far as additional operations costs? Because we already own this equipment, we've paid for it, we borrowed the money for it, we paid for it. What are we going to be looking at for additional costs for operating costs in the budget if we're adding back in that rental fee? Kind of like looking at that cost, because I mean, yeah, we're going to sell this, but it's like a one-time thing. We get this little bit of money from it, but then we're going to have an additional operating cost every single year by renting this equipment again and again.
And again, my answer to that is when we were previously renting equipment, when you rent equipment, it needs to be cleaned and it needs to be used. And I think part of that question that came up from previous councils was that certain rented pieces of equipment were sitting for a month without actually doing anything, and we were paying $5,000 a month to rent that piece. I think it's just more, and that's a great machine. It's bigger than we would ever need. And at this point, if we needed something that was big or bigger, I mean, we've got local construction companies that give us great rates with guys that are working, we're doing the groundwork, they're bringing the machine over, and I think that one of the COVID jobs was less than $2,000. I mean, in this day and age, we can't even do it for that price.
Yeah.
So it's...
Wasn't this shared with the water department as well?
Yes, and that's why it reflected in that thing, is that it would be split up the way it was when it was purchased.
And so how does not having this equipment affect the water department and their scope of work, not having it available? Like, are you going to be able to schedule your work and their work, like, with the two departments together to be able to, you know what I mean? Like, to maximize the use of it,
Right,
because you're only going to
yeah,
have it for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and we're still going to have water breaks. And
I was going to say, do we have that?
A lot of times we're going to call and they're going to drop a machine off, we're going to do the water break, and they're going to pick it up. We're not going to have it there for...
Okay.
We're going to have it there for 2 days. We're not going to have it there for a month. So you're looking at $900 to $1,000. And then we look at the same thing. If it's going to cost me that for manpower, and I call either Brent or somebody over here at Chimbro and Jeff Chandler's free, and they can come down and help us, it's going to be way cheaper than us going up with maybe even rent a machine.
Okay.
I mean, this past summer, it not only cost us $10,000 to fix, but it also cost us a rental fee to replace it while we were waiting for it to be fixed. And just
the only cost with that is
the lead time on parts and
all the work that we did with that other excavator. Thank God it was from the winter storm, and we claimed that on a FEMA reimbursement, so we will get that money back if it wasn't in that case scenario. But again, things can be planned, and ditching, if we're looking at ditching, if we're going to do an area in West Pittsfield, it may not even be a month, might run it for 2 weeks and get half of the work done and maybe only run it another 2 weeks in the fall when we've got other projects. And again, we do plan, and Tim and Huey that's been over from all over the water department, we would plan any curb stop digs or anything, we do it in that same time frame, so we're not doubling up efforts here.
What do you think ballpark values of that?
I think
Just best guess.
I think if we got 80,
80?
yeah, we'll advertise it for 90. I think if we can get 80 out of it, I think we've got our use out of
Do
it.
you have any leads of anyone that you could let know that if we approve this?
Oh, I'm sure there are a few that would be looking. Like I said, it's
Kind of figure, yeah,
looking
network.
at capital, and you've got other guys that have been working with us. Cessno Reconstruction, he's around everywhere. You've got one, like you said, right across the street. That they work a lot with people that rent machines that have been dumped. They want to dump capital. So.
Right.
Are we doing this where people have to like submit a bid for the equipment? And then we,
I think I would think they just make a little offer and a bunch of And again, it would be probably going to see something before the end of the year. I would hope that if they've got companies going to dump capital, we're going to dump it now and get and it's a good machine for somebody, a 30,000-pound machine. It's too big for what we're in.
now's when farmers swap tractors.
Yeah, yes, exactly. This is the time to do it.
All right, council, any other questions? Very well, hearing none, essentially ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 23-100, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 23-100 passes. Thank you, Donnie. Nicole, let's go to resolution 23-101, please.
Resolved that the town council authorize the town manager and the public works director to waive the bid policy and purchase a single axle international plow dump truck from O'Connor GMC of Augusta, Maine, in the amount of $37,500 and take such funds from the $180,000 bond for public works vehicles.
Look for a motion to council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-101.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you very much. I can open up to the public question and comments. All right, Donnie, any details you want to add to this to kind of?
It's the guy, they brought it down last night. Today, Jerry and a bunch of the guys have driven the truck around, went and operated the truck. Had Stuart from Allied Equipment come over, take a look at it, see what value and worth is. It's a nice international dump truck. It's a 2008. It's got 36,000 miles on it. It's got a stainless steel dump body that the value is probably worth $35,000 alone. And not just ourselves, but other people that do this equipment. He does all the plow equipment for a lot of the communities. Said that if you don't buy it, we're crazy. He said that is one heck of a buy on that truck. Nice truck. It's small. Do District 1, what we need it to do, in these little side streets. It'll be quick and efficient. Jerry said the wing works real well, up and down real quick, 9-foot wing. It's very versatile, maneuverable. It's bigger than the 550, but it's less than one of the other big trucks, and it's what we need.
Okay. Before I get to the council, anyone have a comment in the audience? Questions? All right, very well. I'll close to public input. Council, any questions or comments on this?
Are we okay to use that 180 for this? There's no issues there, right?
I don't believe so. There's been in June there was $42,001 that was spent for the 2004 Volvo. So there's still just shy of $140,000 sitting in that account or sitting in that line.
Yeah, from the original 180 that we had on the bond. So this is multi-purpose. Like you say, you have it slated for the District 1 plowing for the winter?
Yes, the one that's going to replace the International that we've got some real problems with, that all of the undercarriages broke, all the cross members on it. It was going to cost us, I think the estimate was $34,500 just on the dump body and the cross members before we started anything else. So at that point, I could see us pulling off that body off of that one, and if we need to put a sander on it and just use it for a sand truck. But again, that one's been used for the last 5 years, and that one's basically sat there during the summer months and it wasn't used. So
Because it needed to be repaired.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and with the new mission that we've got, this new pressure washer it's being put together at Allied right now, so it should be here next week. Jerry's right on top of it, signing people trucks, make sure that they're all cleaned and maintained and trained to use it.
That's my follow-up question.
We're going to get some better maintenance and usage out of our vehicles. Things are not going to be neglected.
Yeah. Preventive maintenance.
PM is big.
Yep, perfect. You answered my question already before I even asked it. Council, any questions or comments on this? All right, very well. Hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of Resolution 23-101, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-101 passes. Nicole, let's move on to Resolution 23-102, please.
Resolved that the town council authorize the town manager and the public works director to enter into a purchase agreement with Snowman's Construction of St. Albans, Maine for a 2021 F-550 plow dump truck for the agreed price of $90,000. The funds to be available for a purchase date of January 16, 2024. The funds from the purchase shall be $44,000 from a 2023 bond, $14,000 from the Public Works Equipment Capital Reserve, and the balance of $32,000 to be from funds from the 2024 budget appropriation process.
I'll look for a motion to council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-102.
Second.
Move to second. Any questions or comments from the audience? Very well. I'll close public input. Councilors, questions or comments?
Donnie, what's this do for our overall fleet? If we do this, are we good for a while, or do we need?
I did put in for, as a capital request for the 2024 for $200,000 for a new single axle dump truck, because we will be doing all 5 plow routes, which will give us the truck. Right now we got the trucks that we need, but we're going to have a spare, because if one of them breaks down, we're still not going to do it.
Right, so you're not, the $200,000 goes towards, say, the replacement of the GMC that we just approved, the 37.5 that we just
Well, we can use it for that, or we still got the 1981 Ford.
Right, but it's to backfill that.
The backfill.
In the,
Yeah, and that should, we bought the Volvo, it's used, it's 20 years old. We bought just so we got the numbers right, we did spend $42,001 for the Volvo. We also spent $45,000 for the wheeler from Stanley. So we actually spent about $96,000. That's where you see that other money coming from the $44,000 in this. So we're going to take up what's left of that, so we don't have to raise a bunch of money for the 2024 budget. But yeah, so this should do us well. If we should be good for a while. We're, like I said, we've got what we need right now, but if we can get the other one on top of it, I think we'll be good for a little while.
I mean, what's the purpose of this truck overall? Like, obviously,
This one here is for your town properties, your parking lots. We've got a lot of properties and parking lots that we do, and some of the dead end streets in Oval Court. We got the Grant Road. Some of those with a big truck, you go in, you have to back all the way out into Route 2. I mean, we've got some pretty unique situations, and this one is actually replacing our 3/4 ton. They've got that Chevy that's been there forever, and it's all rotten apart. There ain't much left of it. It could be a parts truck, or for something for me to cruise around in, so you don't have to pay any mileage until it dies. It won't take a sticker in.
What's your intent? What's your intent with it during the summer?
The summer, we can use it for our small jobs when we do landscaping for the water sewer. We take a small loads of loom. If we're doing dig, we can put the asphalt in that rather than putting a big wheeler dump truck out on the road to haul asphalt away. When we go to do our patching jobs for our paving, it's just the right size. I mean, it's a versatile piece of equipment. And I would say that probably if I had to say I'm going to make my foreman responsible for it, it's probably going to be, he'll be the one that will be operating it most of the time. So again, making people buy in. We've got some people buy in. Everybody's going to have a piece of equipment, and that's going to be theirs to make sure that they wash, clean, maintain, make sure they bring things up if something needs to be fixed, or no longer park them out back and not use them for 6 months and just forget about them. So,
Good idea.
a big responsibility there.
Anything else, Jason?
All right, yeah.
Donnie, you had mentioned that you had seen, I think, a similar truck at...
Yeah, I went to the Windsor Fair, and they actually was O'Connor's, and they had 3 or 4 of the chassis. They were 20. There was 2 22s and 2 23s, and just the chassis for this F550 right now is running about 125 to 135. The one I looked at was 128. It had I think it had 1,250 miles on it, and it was 138. This has got a dump body, it's got custom toolboxes on it, custom fenders. It's got a 10.5-foot extreme bead stainless steel plow. It's actually made, if you go up and look at the ton truck and you watch our 9-foot plow that we put on our 3,500 feet up there, you watch the tires do this, it really wasn't meant to be heavy duty. The days of 3/4 tons doing the work that the town needs to do, doing these parking lots. I know it myself because I've come out and plowed with the pickup truck. I've been at the transfer station with 4.5-foot drifts, and it's taken me 6.5 hours just to get up the road because every other piece of equipment is tied up. So this is a pretty versatile piece of equipment.
Heather, you have a question?
I did. So the $44,000 from the 2023 bond, that finishes the $180,000 bond. So that's done and spent. And then $14,000 from your public works equipment capital reserve. What's the balance in the capital reserve after that expenditure?
I think that's it.
That's it.
I think that's all. According to Catherine months ago, I had asked her what we had for the equipment. I think she brought it into one of our council meetings that we had 14,000.
If you can give me a few minutes, I can get you
Okay.
that.
It's like 14,000 in that account, and that's why I think it'd be a good idea if we get rid of the excavator is to put those funds back into the capital thing. So if we have to, we're not starting at zero again, but for the sake of time.
And is there accounting things that we need to do that if we sell that piece of equipment to have that money go back into the reserve for public works, or does it go into the general fund and then we need to appropriate it?
It would be, if you approve it as this is written, it would just be a matter of us journaling it into that reserve account.
Okay.
It would come for the council as a resolution, I believe.
And then we would say, okay, we're going to sell it for this price, and then the funds will be transferred into.
Yeah, right.
And then last question, balance of $32,000 funds from the 2024 budget appropriation process. Since it's not coming from an established fund and it's future funds that we haven't actually budgeted yet, I have some qualms about committing funds to a future budget when we haven't actually set that budget and voted on that budget. So that would be a gray area for me to be able to do that.
The finance is based on what we have in hand and the balance of $32,000. Asking the council to put that into the budget cycle when we start that next month.
Is there anywhere else we can pull that from within this year's budget, or if we
That was my
sell
question, yeah.
the excavator before the end of the year, make an expenditure at the same time we accept? You know what I mean? Like bundle that all together and do it that way. And is there a way we can commit to them and say this is our plan? We're going to sell this piece of equipment and put funds towards this, because they don't want it until the 1st of January anyway.
My concern is that the biggest thing is that we enter into a purchase agreement, because when that council meeting that truck was here at the last council meeting, he called me the next day and he said a local construction company, he'd offered it out And he said that all of a sudden now, when he saw it parked out back and everybody drove it, or Jerry drove it, or whoever's doing it, saw it and then called him up that next morning and said, hey, listen, I totally forgot, I'm really interested in that truck. I see it in town. Are they going to buy it? Because if they're not going to jump on it, I want it.
Yeah, I totally see the value of like
Yes,
capturing the opportunity.
definitely.
I just want to make sure that we're squared away as far as like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can't say we're going to spend future money without
I
appropriating
think he was
future
more
money
looking
first.
if he was going to hold this thing, and I said that can we give you, kind of said, well, if we give you part of it up front with what we have for our leftover the bond,
Kind of like
which
a
will hold it
holding
until
down
the first
payment
of the
and
year,
then
and
finance
you
until the
Correct.
January
And he
date.
says, you know what, if you're going to commit to it, you can give me into the end of the purchase agreement, I'll save it over, and you just can pay me after the first year.
Yeah, and I like the idea of
Yeah,
it.
and
I
he
just
said
want to
that
make
it
sure
works better for
we
him that way
need to
too,
do that.
because he said he has to dump.
Yeah, he has to
He has to
probably
dump
wait
stuff
to
too,
move
we're talking about
equipment.
this
and-
capital thing, he's
yeah.
gonna dump stuff too because of profit, so he's
Yeah,
trying
oh,
to.
totally, yeah.
To answer Councilor Donohue's question, right now there's 14,124.68 in that reserve, so
Okay.
utilizing that would deplete that reserve.
Craig, you had a question?
Yeah, a couple things. First, the numbers you just gave, I just want to make sure I kind of go through that again real quick. 44,
It's coming from money left over from,
no, going back to all the trucks that we purchased. 40 for the Volvo,
it was 42,000.
4201,
And 45,000
Yep.
from Stanley.
so that's 87. Yep.
And then we've used $8,900 to have the body swapped over. So I figure it's around 98,000.
That was the part, that's the part I was missing. was
Before the
body swap and stuff.
37.5, which leaves
Yep.
us 44,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So follow-up question to that, and this is going to be one of those topics that we've kicked around this room 700 times. We have monies approved from 2022 as well, $180,000 towards purchase of a truck. Why would we do anything encumbering ourselves towards next year or even affect our capital funds when we have a bond that could cover this truck in whole? That's already been approved by the tax base for our expenses.
That's a very good question, it makes sense on the face of it.
I just
Can
would
you
think,
speak to that?
I agree, and I think Donnie and I had actually mentioned that. In my understanding, at one point there was, and I would, this was before my time.
Absolutely.
There were discussions about utilizing certain funds in specific years and not utilizing funds for. And again, I wasn't a part of those conversations. I'm not entirely sure how that went down.
so I was the author of those comments, to be honest with you, right? So I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, right? But at the same time, it is something that, actually, Heather and I went back and forth on this for
A couple meetings.
meetings and meetings. We went back, and it finally came to the understanding of, in order to set ourselves up for success, we had kind of agreed to do it this way. And once we were done with this going forward, the idea was going to be money was spent in the year that it was approved, and beyond that, it was kind of dead. But the timing of getting these trucks and lining everything up, the timing of the information making it from Donnie to town manager, from town manager to council, from council back, and that timing got messed up. So in order to allow for that and to kind of erase those issues, we said this time we're going to kind of do that. And then after this, we weren't going to move forward, because that was kind of Heather's argument to me, and it made sense. Took me a while to get through that, but I got there. So I really think that that's good, because the taxes have already been paid based on that amount of money being spent, correct? So we're already there. That money's sitting there waiting for us.
But what you just said, the discussion was using funds for that year, from that year, and don't carry it over, because we're talking almost 2024, talking about budget 2022.
That's right.
So are you advocating that we do that
So what we said,
in opposition to what you just said?
yes. So what I'm saying is, my initial argument was that we always just spent it in the year that it was done, and we kind of were confusing everything. I can tell you, in a finance meeting in these rooms, we went round and round and round. And at the end of the day, the discussion was that where we have these two pockets of money. We would use that this time because the taxes have already been paid, the commitment's already there, the money promised, and the ability to purchase this and set us up for our plowing success going forward, that we would use this money. But as starting in our budget process of 2024, we would no longer allow that. Those
Right.
monies would be done.
Right.
So this year, yes. Going forward, no.
So we want to make sure that we've spent all of 2022 for sure this year,
That's right.
right? And then we should spend all of or nearly all of 2023.
2023.
Because
Right.
combined, I think we have what? We would have 360?
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
But
That's right.
So we haven't
follow-up.
got that many.
A quick follow-up though, Jacob just said, not completely familiar with the status of that or the discussion of that. If it's there, that's fine, I'm
It
all
is.
for it. I think we're at the point, we've talked about this truck 3 or 4 meetings, and we're getting to the point now, it may get bought out from underneath. My point is, and I'm with you 100%, I'm not throwing people's money away, and never been known to, because I have a hard time doing it with my own.
Right.
Use some funds, we already have that here, secure the ownership of the truck, because I think you'd mentioned January 2024 when it's gonna be done and complete, but just to hold us that he knows we're serious about it.
Yes. That's what he wants to
We
do.
can I'd like to have that part of this conversation, I don't wanna separate one from the other.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna have to get this all figured out in 2 or 3 meetings from now, and, oh geez, that truck's.
But
I
think
thought
it's
it's just amend it, right? Just amend this.
Right, I think it alleviates Heather's concern
That's
that
right.
we're spending money of a 2024 budget that we don't, that
Right.
we're not even.
It will help,
Yes. Yeah, everything should be, we have money in place, we just need to use the right money.
That's
Which is
correct.
2022
And so-
budget and 2023.
And
So we shouldn't even talk about a $32,000
Yeah.
of a 2024 budget.
Or the capital. I would leave the capital alone. I would leave
Yeah.
any future monies
If you
alone.
can.
I would take this all from bond money because this has all been approved.
Because
already been
it's there
appropriated
somewhere.
from tax base. That's correct. So
It's from the previous year, but that was the hitching point we had last time, but we're in agreement that it's there, it's been paid, it's
Right.
bought and paid for it in a way.
And then our understanding was, starting January 1st, 2024, any monies that have not
Oh,
been
that-
spent, I don't care if it's 20 bucks left over,
Right.
is gone. That is done, no longer to ever be brought up again.
Yep.
And we start kind of this process along that.
And the books
it's
get
spent that
adjusted,
budget.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah, but I think that we just maybe back this out and amend,
But
make a
do we
motion
have
to amend it.
32,000 from the 2022 money?
We have 180,000 sitting there, it hasn't been touched at all.
Well, is that true?
I don't believe they've been touched.
Still have to take it
Didn't
out.
we back in May, did we buy Stanley's truck from the 2022 money? Remember the whole conversation?
Yes, no, because it would have taken longer. It would have made us wait another week.
Correct.
Right, but then we waited
So-
6 anyway, so.
No, in order for the
My point is, I'm not positive, somebody's not, is whether we touched any of 2022. I thought we did.
there's enough there that the balance we could say.
So how about we do this?
46,000.
How about we do this? Two points that we need to clarify here. First of all, I want to make sure that we can secure that truck. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, that 32,000, whether it comes from here or there, I think we need to, in a way, buy us time so that Jacob will have some time to look into it.
I agree.
And say, yes, here it is, here's the fund, here's the account number. So the next one we modify it. So I guess we could probably look for a modification,
So
if you're willing to do
you would
so.
modify it as an either or, either from the 2022 or capital of 2024.
No.
Whatever you want.
No, because we know we have the money.
We know we have
Can
the
we
money.
We just don't know what pot of money it is.
Can we authorize a letter of intent to purchase,
Right.
committing to purchase it pending the town manager's research on what funding has been used from the
That's,
2022?
that's
all
will he be satisfied with that?
I think he will,
And give
yes.
us, maybe give us a breakdown, because not all of us, we've talked about it so many times, I don't
Yeah.
think any of us are real, certain.
I think he's probably the best way to get it figured out, because he hasn't
One
come in.
truck from this and
Yeah.
one truck from that because of the time.
Seth
and-
doesn't care where he gets his money from, as long as he gets the
Basically,
time
that's all I
period.
wanted, just a letter of intent that we're gonna purchase it.
Right,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Okay,
Letter of
Figure it out.
intent, the date, the purchase amount, and then next meeting, we'll have all the numbers in order.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I'd even be okay with like earnest money down of what we know we have in that pot too. Right?
Well, let's stick with one option and try to get it done, because we're gonna go around and around in circles on this. Let's focus, just get this thing secure.
So there's one more question.
Yeah,
Okay, if this is going to be used for plowing for this year, and we have the funds in hand from a bond or two or some source, and we don't have to wait until 2024, is it available for us to purchase ahead of time so that you have this in November, December, so that if we start getting snow, it's going to be at your disposal before?
Once we have the money, it's ours.
January?
2024 was simply for financial.
Right.
I figured as much, but I didn't know if he
But it
had
might
to
be
hold on to it
financial.
and couldn't sell it before a certain
No,
time.
and he
Because
said
some
it'd be,
businesses
he said it'd
wait
be
until
parked in his
January.
garage, and he just told me
but
that.
he would take it soon.
I told him about giving a deposit with what we had left, and
Okay.
then come up with the other balance, and he said, you know what, just don't put it up all at the end of the year.
Okay,
After
I
January.
didn't know where the date was coming from, whether it was driven by his needs or by our needs, or.
Yeah, they said it worked better for him if it was next year, but if we have the money, then we can, if he wants us to hold it until after the first of the year, so to complete the purchase, I'm sure if we got the money in hand with the checks that we have, that he probably will let us have that.
So let's look at modifying this,
Yeah.
because if we table this and there's no action we can take on it, we have to authorize a letter of intent.
Right.
So, and there's no other item on here to do so, so we can modify this in a way, I believe, where we can say, resolve town council, authorize town manager, public works director to develop a letter of intent for the purchase of such and such for 90,000.
Period.
I mean, can we leave it just like that? Would that suffice? Would he be happy with that?
Yeah.
I think he-
Council, sufficient with that?
I'm happy with that.
Okay, so,
And then the next meeting.
who document that motion?
And Jason.
You wanna rescind the previous motion and, remove?
Or just amend
Rescind
it.
the previous motion.
Or we just amend it then? Well, there's a lot of details in there, that's fine.
Well, let's just amend
Just
it.
amend it to.
Yep.
Resolve that the town council authorize the town manager and the public works director to enter into a purchase agreement with Snowman's Construction of St. Albans for a 2021 F-550 plow down truck for the agreed price of $90,000. A letter of intent will be directed from the town manager to Snowman's accordingly.
Second. You'll be fine. Can we rewind the tape? Watch the town stream after we do that.
Get one of those.
No, he said, actually what he'd done, this whole
The first
thing,
sentence always
St.
said,
Albans, blah, 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 agreed price of $90,000, with the,
With a letter of
with
intent
the letter of intent.
delivered from the town manager to Snowman's, period,
call you
Yes.
for the
tomorrow.
purchase.
Perfect.
Town manager's got it.
I'd be into discussing with you tomorrow, but the town office is closed.
All right,
But we're there working.
questions or comments, audience, on the amendment?
I will provide you with a breakdown of both of those bonds at your next meeting.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
thank you.
Okay, I'll close public input. Councilors, any questions or comments on the amended resolution? Aye. Oh, I like your enthusiasm.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we know that we're going to like decide where to take the money from at the next meeting. I don't know if that needs to be part of it.
We can make a separate resolution for the next meeting. I mean, this is just say, yeah, we're gonna buy it, here's a letter.
Okay.
And then the next meeting we'll have another, based on this previous one, here's how we're gonna pay for it. That'll give Jacob enough time to look at the 2022 and what's left, and verify what's left in
So
2023.
we actually don't have another meeting until November 8th.
Nice.
Right.
9th, that's a Thursday.
Oh, Wednesday?
Wednesday's the 8th.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
voting.
Second, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the 8th because of the election.
Because of the election.
Do it on the 7th. Well, the biggest
Okay.
turnout we've ever had. Might as well just do it.
We'll have a revolving audience. Hey, can you go over the last one? That's okay. Any questions or comments further on the resolution as amended? Very
Not so much on
well.
the resolution. I have a question on the intent going forward. Since we're taking over theoretically all the plowing, for the 5 routes that we have, or however many routes,
That will be in 2024.
in 2024.
We're doing
Okay.
3 of the 5 this year.
So the expectation will be from 2024 onward that part of our capital expenses will be to keep up the trucks and the equipment to an appropriate level over the course of time, that we don't run into getting 3 trucks in 1 year. Yes.
That's what, that's,
Replace one every
and the problem is, at this point, is obviously there was no forethought. And again, looking at efficiencies and stuff, now, if we rewinded back 6 years, I may have made the determination that maybe we shouldn't be in plowing business.
Well, that's true too.
You know
That's,
what I mean?
that's
But
another
again,
question.
well,
That's
it's something that we don't have a crystal ball, and a lot of contractors are getting out of the plowing business. It's tough. I mean, it's expensive, and
It's expensive, and the equipment is very expensive.
equipment now is very expensive. You know, $250,000 in a dump truck doesn't get you much.
Right. All set, Doc?
Okay, no problem.
All right, anything else, council?
Really, you think about it.
Very well, hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 23-102 as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 23-102 as amended has passed. Thank you, council. Nicole, let's move to resolution 23-103, please.
Resolved that the town council approve the issuance of a parade permit to the Pittsfield Police Department for a holiday parade of lights on November 25th, 2023, and waive the permit fees.
I look for a motion, council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-103.
Second.
Moved and second. Thank you, council. Any questions or comments from the council, from the audience? Chief, anything you want to add to it?
Yes. So this parade will lead into basically our new tree lighting ceremony, which is going to be a lot different than it had been in the prior years. It'll be here at the back of the PD, and the tree will be now at the park right across the street, Stein Park. So as soon as Public Works cuts the tree down for me. And just so you know, I did talk to our insurance company. For those that have questions, it's been in the papers recently for insurance for parades, and they're all set with it.
And the tree that gets cut down will be organic, thoroughly hugged before you cut it, correct?
Free range.
That's right.
He's already going
We're going to send it back to the forest. There you go. Any other-
help plow, because we're doing a lot of his legwork.
Any other comments from the audience? Yes, Jan?
There still will be a tree at Hawthorne Park, though, so,
And the gazebo.
at the gazebo.
Yeah. All right, very
And
well.
that, right now, we're looking at that possibly the next weekend after the parade. So.
Okay. All right, thanks, Jan. Anyone else in the audience?
And Santa Claus has been contacted me, texted me today.
Very cool. All right, I'll close the public input. Any questions or comments, council? Very well, hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 23-103, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 23-103 passes. Nicole, if you would please, resolution 23-104.
Resolved that the town council approve the issuance of a parade permit to the Pittsfield Police Department for a Santa gift collection parade on December 2nd, 2023, and waive the permit fees.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-104.
Second.
Move in second. Any questions or comments from the audience? Any further details, Chief?
Smaller parade. It's going to go through the town and the streets, and we'll have a map on our Facebook page where they can link in live. And the idea behind this is Santa's going to be in the front with a fire truck, police car, whatever it is, and then in the rear cars will be a Grinch. And if citizens in town want to leave an unwrapped gift for a child or an adult, the Grinch can collect it through the path, and they just let us know when we pick it up, and then it will be given to charity through various charities that are active.
There really is going to be a Grinch.
There's going to be. We already had the costume, so we're going to go. And Santa, like you said, is going to be there. So there's no question whether Santa's going to show.
You need to be it. You need to volunteer. You got to do it. You got to do it. Nobody buys you a Santa, so you got to be the.
Well, I was working on my whole persona for years. I'll just blow it. But if it's for the children,
That's right.
All right, anything else from the audience, please? All right, very well. Close the public input. Any questions or comments from the council? Any volunteers from the council? All right, very well. Here and none. I suggest ready to vote. All those in favor of Resolution 23-104, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-104 passes. Resolution 23-105, if you would, please, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council appoint Al Tempesta as local health officer effective October 17, 2023 through October 17, 2026.
I'll look for a motion to council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-105.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jacob, you want to provide a couple details on this before I open up to questions?
From my understanding, Donnie previously served as local health officer and resigned maybe perhaps a couple of years ago now. There are a few issues around town that Al is addressing currently. The way that the law is that the local health officer can do certain things that the code enforcement officer cannot. We should have a local health officer, period. We're required to have one. That's just that appointment has never been made. And so Al is certainly not intending to hold this position for 3 years, as it is in the agenda, but that is the requirement in the law. Al would serve as the local health officer until our new code enforcement officer is hired. At that time, our new code enforcement officer would take over as the health officer. So this is something that Al approached me about and requested that he be appointed to this position.
Okay. So with that, any questions or comments from the audience? Very well. Here and now, I'll close the public input. Councilors, any questions or comments on this?
So when we appoint a new CEO, then we also appoint them health officer. Are we two separate appointments?
Correct.
At the same time?
Yeah, the code enforcement officer is typically appointed as code, building inspector, licensed plumbing inspector, oftentimes a C911 addressing officer, and it will also be local health officer. So it will be, all of those appointments will be combined into one, basically.
And there's no special requirements, certifications.
There is a training that local health officers have to take. Al is a local health officer in multiple other
Right.
communities, so he's
I just
already
wasn't
done
sure
that.
about the next guy.
But the incoming code enforcement officer would have to take that training. Yeah.
I think we've been fortunate we hadn't had our feet held to the flame on that the last couple of years.
So we wouldn't actually make that appointment until they obtain that certification then?
Unless
At that point.
unless the applicant already has the certification.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he does or not.
Okay.
Anything else, Council? Very well. Here and none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of Resolution 23-105, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-105 passes. Nicole, we're in the home stretch. Resolution 23-106, please.
Resolved that the town council approve the filing of a community building grant of $10,000 from the Maine Community Foundation to conduct a community needs assessment, and if approved, further authorize the town manager and library director to expend the funds in accordance with the grant requirement and town regulations.
I look for a motion to council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-106.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the audience this evening on Resolution 23-106? Very well. Here and none, I will close the public input. Councilors, any questions or comments on Resolution 23-106?
I'll just mention sorry, go ahead.
No, you My answer.
I was gonna say, Holly, Jane, and I kind of worked on the original application, and the interviews with the granting agency coincided with Holly leaving, and I think that might have had an impact. And she was upfront about it, like she should have been. There would have been a gap in administration at the library because of her leaving and hiring a new person. So I think that might have had an impact. It's a good application, and basically it's looking at services within the town, doing an assessment for needs of new members and people within the community, and kind of doing a little bit of the groundwork into our comprehensive planning and those types of things. So it's a good application. It's the program itself, the community building grants, are really good programs for towns to start working on, and it can provide a lot of insight into the town and how our town has changed over the last 10 years, 15 years, with new residents and
And it's actually a logical place for something like that to start.
It is.
Especially
It is.
as active as they've been in this town the last 10, 20 years.
Yep, yeah, and they
Always
do
done a great
provide
job.
a lot more services than just traditional library services. At the library, there's a lot of community services that are administered through the library, and it's truly as a meeting place in town. So, and they have some connections of grant writers that can help them do this work. So I think it's important to get the application rolling and the authorization in place ahead of when the application is filling, so they can have a robust application this time with our new library.
Excellent.
Is there any town match for this? Or?
I don't believe there is. If there is, it could be.
I'm sure there's.
It could be the time of. You can use the time of the library staff,
Right,
or
yeah.
other services that are provided within the town. Could be a possible match. I don't recall there being a financial match, though.
Just curious. Thanks.
Anything else, Council? Thank you for the insight, Heather. All right, very well. Hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of Resolution 23-106, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, so that Resolution 23-106 passes. Nicole, the last one.
Here we go.
Resolution 23-107, if you would, please.
Resolved that the town council approve the request for proposals for wastewater plant metal roof and trim work, and authorize the water sewer operations manager to seek bids for same.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-107.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from actually, Jacob, do you want to provide some details on this, or would Donnie be the one to talk to on this? You got the details on this?
This is, I'm not sure what question you have.
Well, they're looking for a wastewater plant metal roof. Who's the water and sewer operations manager? Wouldn't that be
It'd be authorizing. This is just to seek an RFP. Any actual expenditures would come back to the council for approval. It's the building at our sludge site, not our sludge site, but the sewer treatment area.
Yeah.
The roof is in need of repair, and this is their intent of.
right? So the reference of the water sewer operations manager, that would be over associates.
Oliver prepares the RFP.
Yep,
It's
okay.
prepared by them, and they will.
So it's approval for the RFP only.
Correct. Only the RFP. Yeah.
All right.
A lot of communities don't act. A lot of communities skip this step, and the RFP isn't approved by the council. It's just the expenditure is. But this is what your past practice has been.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the audience?
Just real quick, that roof was meant to be repaired 6 or 7 years ago. The sewer treatment plant building itself has got a lot of leakage, and it started to get some mold on the inside of the walls. I did go down with Travis and Annalise to take a look at the problem, because I thought it was something that the Public Works could assist them with a metal roof. After doing the assessment, there's a lot of rotting trim around in the fascia, and also underneath the trim. So it was something that we weren't really willing to take on. We was going to run a man left to do it ourselves, but I think probably it would be cheaper for them to get an RFP for a roofing company to do it.
Okay. Anyone else in the audience? Very well, close public input. Councilors, any questions or comments on this?
I had one question,
Yeah.
that on the RFP that you had printed, it said that bids need to be in by October 20th, which is Friday, I think.
Yeah, that, we would likely extend that. Yeah,
So I think you need to change that date.
yeah, and we would extend that. Yeah, that's a good catch.
Anything else?
I assume they have the funds in this year's budget?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And the other thing was, I would solicit more local people if possible.
That is something that Travis identified. He was actually looking for recommendations on more local companies.
Okay.
And so, if the council has some recommendations, if you would be willing to send them to me, that would be helpful, because I think you guys have a better understanding of who does this work than I do right now.
We have like a bit of time before our next meeting, which would be the earliest we would be able to address this anyway. So there'd be time to put an ad in the Rolling Thunder, request for proposals, or thing, and that they can just contact the town council or the town office for that. This is a way to get the word out to local contractors.
Yep. And so I will send Travis over some more local contractors. He did mention that.
Also, the
Sure, we
company,
can get you some too.
the company that was awarded the bid for the public works garage, shouldn't we should probably seek them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, because
Anybody.
package a deal up a little bit.
Yep.
Was that the only bid we received on the other roof? Or there was another one? There was a couple.
Three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually going to bring that up in the discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll keep the discussions, because we're gonna go off on a tangent on that.
I'm just thinking
That's
three more.
on my notes to bring up too.
Yes.
Three more people we can send it out to, or I was thinking, that'll be another thing, but just three more.
Yeah,
Send it out to.
not necessarily. Yeah,
All right,
the one that ends up on it, right?
anything else pertinent to this resolution? All right, very well, here and now, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 23-107, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 23-107 passes. Now, the next item, 10, discussion items. Request from the cemetery section of the purchase map 12, lot 12. Pete, you have some details you want to provide, or Jacob, do you want to
I can
take lead on this?
I can start. Our cemetery section approached me about an individual who was looking to sell a lot adjacent to our cemetery off of Falcoma. It's actually, if you can see it, it's up on the screen here. The lot that is in question is this kind of triangular shape right here, with this building on it. So Peter, if you want to...
Yeah, Mr. Brad Fisher bought it from Blake Bartlett probably 5 years ago. And at the time, he was going to use it because he's the head of the jump school. And when Caleb Curtis stopped him from jumping that land, then he was going to put his planes there because where the runway is adjacent to it. He then contacted, I tried to contact him twice. He was hard to get, and he's a real estate broker too. And finally he got to Catherine, I think it was, I gave a paper to, and when he contacted Catherine, it was about 2 or 3 days later, Catherine contacted me. I called Mr. Fisher numerous times. Finally, he got back to me, I think, on the 23rd. And he bought it for $45,000. He'll sell it for $35,000. The roof is fine in front. need some work, there's double doors. Because I figure there's about 75 to 100 years left of what we have there now. And after that, we don't have any, unless you want to do what they do in Germany. And I don't think you want to.
So you would anticipate this would be more plots?
I could see a lot more.
In that building, you don't anticipate that building staying there, or for the
We
time being, keeping
need
it
the
there?
building. We need the building.
In this place, or moving it maybe? Options?
I'd like to keep it
Yeah, I'd say it'd be in this place.
because the building I have now, I've got 4 mowers in there, 3 trailers, and a lot of other things. And we could use another building. In fact, I've tried to get a building for the last 2 years. You can see how far that's got me. But it would be easy on that tree line you see. Your roads are about 6 feet wide. If you went in, probably 8 feet, 10 feet, at a 6-foot road, you could have stones on either side. And it goes way over to where Ivy Larry lives, that next house, and there's a marker that's right within a foot of her driveway.
You're talking right about here?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And that property line was surveyed by, I think his name was George Robeson. He surveyed it, and I think that was one of the surveyors. But I think that would be, because he told me, whether he was bluffing or not, that he was going to divide it into house lots. Now, right across the street, the guy that bought that piece for $15,000 sold it for $59,000, and there's going to be a home up in there. So I think it would be an excellent buy because the area to the west of us is in probate since I've been there. 16 years, the Frederick family owns that, and that would have, you would need a lot of fill for that one area. This area, I think, could be prepped and ready within a year or two. But I think it would be a very wise choice to purchase it. And I would think, and I'm not privy to this information, how much we have in the trust fund. I'm never allowed to know that.
A lot.
A lot of money.
Times have changed.
Right now, in the investments, the last statement I had, it was at 928,000 and change. Given the market, it's dropped a little bit. Normally, it stays right around $1 million plus or minus. So the funds are certainly there. And again, this is, our intent tonight is certainly not to take any action. It's just I'm trying to get the temperature of the council to see if this is an avenue that you want us to pursue.
I'd be willing to walk it through. I've gone through it 2 or 3 times. And I would like to see some of you town council down to visit the cemetery.
Not anytime soon. No, not anytime soon. Oh, not officially. Oh, okay.
We can drive in and drive out.
Not the one-way trip.
No, not that one-way trip. But I think that would be a wise choice for the council to look at when you have the money before it ends up being house lots.
Yeah.
Because I think it's under rural commercial.
It is.
It is. But that building could, Jerry could look at it. I think it's fairly sound. There's a new roof, aluminum roof on it. And
It'd be for storage anyway, correct? I mean,
Yes.
that's what it was before,
yes.
right? Yeah.
I've got to get some of the things that are in that building I have now out.
Wasn't that, like, didn't they make headstones there?
Yes,
Yeah.
made stones.
Yeah.
And there's a cement pad out to the right of the building as you're looking at it. Oh,
Yeah.
and it would be a place for loam I mean, there's a couple people who live right close by that keep an eye on everything. I mean, everything, so I might get a call at 7 o'clock at night, Peter, there's a light on in the cemetery. Yeah, there are a lot of lights on in the cemetery where people put them out. But there's a couple people there that watch it very diligently.
Yeah. So if we see this on the next agenda and saying we approve it, how quickly could this be moved on? Could we see ownership at the end of the year? I mean, certainly it's ball rolling. I certainly see no issue. It's certainly a definite excellent investment for the town, especially where it's covered in the funds of the cemetery.
Yeah, Mr. Fisher called me late yesterday afternoon after I had talked, and I said, well, I'm meeting with the town council tonight, and I can call them, or whomever can call them, and just say it was a positive meeting. And I'm not going to say yes, they will. I'm not. No. I'm just saying.
Right. You certainly can't because there's really no
Right.
action here. It's information only. But I personally think it's well worth putting on for action on the next agenda.
You're welcome to come down, walk around, look at it. It goes down and runs that property line. It heads down southwest and hooks onto that ditch that they built in '97 when they had the storms.
Anyone have any questions for Peter?
I think it's a good buy. I mean, aside from the fact that it gives you extra space to expand cemetery plots, the cost of building anything these days, to be able to acquire a building that's pretty much usable as it is, in close proximity to the facility already, I mean, that's a huge benefit, and $35,000 is a good deal for that.
The building alone is worth $35,000 in today's market.
Right, and having the extra space for cemetery plots is just a bonus. And you said you have time in the existing cemetery already, so the development doesn't have to happen right away. It can be planned out as a capital project over the next, say, 5 years. So that expense can be planned out, so it's not a huge hit on the trust fund there. So I mean, I think we had talked about this before, and I've been there and looked at it and stuff, and I think it's a good buy for the town. So I'm glad that people are willing to part with it now. And
He's ready. He's ready.
So, I'm fully supportive of moving that along.
We in agreement. See it on the resolution next meeting. So Pete, if you want to give him a call, so we're going to have a resolution next meeting.
Okay, that's it.
To discuss, and it'll be yay or nay then.
Yeah.
I mean, you can certainly say it. You can certainly say it is a warm reception.
It's the 8th, the Wednesday.
November 8th.
Yeah.
So
after.
my other question would be, because this is not a regular budget expenditure, what kind of behind the scenes things do we need to do for that to be expended out of the funds?
Yeah, that would be a question I think I would have to pose to legal. The cemetery trust it's kind of unique in how it's done, and it's contrary to how we operate for our other expenses. So that's going to be a question that I pose to
Peter, anything else?
No, I just want Jerry to look at the front of the building to see what
Okay.
I had to have. Anything done.
Don't do it at night with a light, because you'll be watched.
Well,
People get a call. All right. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it. All right. I shall open the public comment. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments or topics they wish to discuss? Looking at the lights, geez. I can see everything from up here. All right. Very well. I will close to public input, and I will go with council. Ladies first. Heather, anything you'd like to bring up?
I had a question about the roof on the water sewer building. I don't remember we had talked about it like needing work and stuff before, and I don't know if that's just because it's like Oliver manages that, and they kind of deal with that in their assessments and stuff, or if it's part, I think it's like Dr. Donnie, and whether that's part of our building and grounds assessment that are done. I don't remember it being a topic of conversation before, so I was a little taken aback of like, oh, we have to replace the roof. Or if it's just something that has like little by little, and then all of a sudden it's...
Over the past 5 years, I go around and do facility
Yeah.
inspections. It's something that our insurance company requires, and it has been, and I think it was, believe it or not, it was back, we're starting to get some small leaks, and there's some small repairs back from Scott Noble was running our facility. And they're just progressively getting worse, and we've been noticing that where the cinder blocks go up, that there's been some water seepage on the ends, which is creating some maybe health issues for people who don't. It's bad enough that we're down by the sewer ponds themselves that smell, but then you've got some mold in the building. And that's one of those things that's indicated when it's been brought to their attention by our DEP inspections. They get involved in that stuff after a while, just like they do the transfer station network and say, well, that building's getting a little dilapidated. Your licensing depends on having appropriate facilities to be able to manage your system or your facility. So the last couple of times they've had inspections, it's been brought up. It's been documented in my building inspections at some point. I just think I think during, where they're an enterprise account, I think during budget session it gets pushed aside because of everything that's going on. So it's, in the last year and a half, it's got bad. Yeah,
And
there's standing water on the floor, they're having to squeeze it out, and get a good rainstorm. So it needs to be done.
And do we have some remediation that needs to be done inside as well? Because
The guys are doing a real good job.
They've
with
been working on that.
to keep things cleaned up, and they're going down there doing their daily things, even on the weekend. You see them down there, so they're on top of stuff. It's not due to neglect. I was trying to look back and see. I think it was 78 or 82 or something like that when that was done. So it looks like it's the original roof. It has been a while. So it's probably getting to the age where my old office was. So yeah, it's time for an update before it starts creating critical issues with some of the instrumentation in the building.
And speaking of roofs, dare I ask about the theater roof and how we're looking at that and whether we're going to bring that to the council again to put up for sale? Because we're going into another winter, and I believe we've already spent our full budget for maintenance on the theater already.
I
Snow and
don't know. But I know there's still, well, I haven't talked to the parties involved for several months. I know there's
yeah,
still interest
it's
in
been
it.
several months.
I know,
So
I know.
it's like we need to like finish your cut bait here, and we need to like cut bait and get rid of it because Catherine had mentioned we don't have insurance on that building come June
June next year.
2024. We only have
Okay.
insurance through June
And
2024, and then it's uninsurable, which is a huge liability for us. So we need to kind of have that in our forethought as we're doing our budgeting and kind of planning and kind of like getting that moving.
I think we definitely take it up after next year when I'm off the council.
That and, of course, my condolences to Mr. Noble's family. Sorry to hear that.
All set, Heather?
That's all I have.
All right.
Mr. Hall? Yeah, just a quick question. What do we use the New Holland tractor for? Is that just bush hogging and doing like mowing the sides of the roads and whatnot?
And down to the airport, the sewer treatment plant.
Okay.
Yeah. If you notice, they actually, this year, we actually did the field. It used to be Richardson. Trent South used to do the front part. We did that this year over by the old runway. Some of the maintenance that we had the excavator for a couple of years ago with the chopper on it down at the back side of the runway by the sewer treatment plant over in that boggy area.
Sure. I was just kind of thinking about, getting rid of the excavator. Is the tractor worth keeping? Do we contract that whole thing out to somebody like we do the rest of the mowing?
I think
Just
It was a
just
thought.
a thought, I guess. I don't
We're
know if it's feasible or not. but-
We're definitely going to put some money into that in the upcoming year over the winter. It's been a volatile piece of special equipment. It not only does the bush hogging and stuff, it booms up and actually gets a lot of the branches and twigs
Right.
off the trees.
Yeah. Okay.
It's-
Yeah, no, that's,
It's a real good investment for what we've invested in. It's out for almost 2 months a year, so
Okay.
it's a big piece of what we do.
Yep.
Ditching helps us maintain our ditching.
all right. Yeah, just thinking about that along with the other equipment that we've got, so.
And there is some stuff that will have to go out to bid.
Then I know you got, I know we kind of marked trees that need to be cut down around town. I don't know, have you guys spent that budget this year?
We're over it, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Been very,
There's-
been very aggressive.
Yeah, there's a few dead trees at Athlone Park that look terrible.
They're coming down.
This
Was that said earlier tonight? I don't know.
Yeah, no, actually, we've got an arborist right here.
Okay,
So
that's good.
We've got pending a sale across the street. We've got a couple spruces in Stein Park that are
Right.
coming down. The big one that's out back of the building that's over the old pizzeria.
Yeah.
We've got the dead one in Stein Park. We've got the 2.5 one. So we're going to rent that man lift for. Actually, we're going to go down and check with our friends across the road first to see if they've got one big enough, and we're going to start taking some of the trees down ourselves.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
And then the last thing is my deepest condolences to the Noble family. Certainly a tragedy for the entire community, so thinking of them.
Okay, that's that, Jason. Thanks. Mr. Jester, I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries.
Work calls sometimes.
Understood.
Just a couple quick things, and I apologize if I missed them in previous meetings. I guess first and foremost, can we get an update for our next meeting of status for, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah.
Revenues and expenditures?
No.
CEO.
No, my goodness. This is going to be one of those nights. I apologize.
Anyone have any guesses? Anyone? You want us to circle back?
No. Oh my goodness.
He'll get it. He'll get it.
She's coming around there. She's coming around. The funds that we discussed, oh my.
The bonds?
The bonds?
$180,000 bonds?
Nope. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Completely gone. I'll move on to the second point, I'll come back to it. Second point is Donnie wanted to talk about the roofing situation a little bit, and I kind of wanted to hear what we've got going on. Is there any updates for us on Public Works?
I was notified a couple of months ago by the previous town manager that she was attempting to, because he uses subcontractors, Kaufman Roofing uses subcontractors, which
Yes.
is common practice now, did not have workers' comp on his subcontractors. She was helping them get predeterminations for the workers' comp. She's basically making out an application and sending it in to get a predetermination. I've done it as an independent contractor.
It takes about
And she said after doing some help a month ago, she made a few calls with no return call. I've been making calls yesterday, today, and the last one as of 2 o'clock today, asking where he was in this, because I've gone through the process and it shouldn't take 2 months, and his deadline for the completion of the work was November 15th. So I needed to know the status at 6:30 tonight before coming to the council meeting, before I made the recommendation to you guys to go with the next lowest bidder. And he has still not made contact with me. So I don't know what the pleasure of the council is, if we want to just say, give him an undetermined amount of time, or we give him a timeline to November 15th, because the other bidders were not going to be able to do the work until spring anyway. So I'm at your pleasure, whatever you guys would like me to do. I was trying to be blunt to try to get some sort of an answer by the council meeting tonight, and obviously he wasn't able to return the numerous calls I made today. So,
We haven't paid anything.
materials cost, though.
right.
Materials cost is going to over this winter, we're going to see a sharp increase in materials costs. I think we need to make a move sooner than later and get this done. I mean, if he's going to be unresponsive, then
Again, and I think the pricing that we got from the other bidders, because they were for.
Can you develop something with Jacob's input that we can discuss in next meeting, actionable resolution?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if he would make contact and would say, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. I've got 4 of my 5 guys, and we're just waiting back. We've sent them in as of this date for the determinations. I'm sure that they're probably going to get them, and this is a date, and yes, we plan on having the work done by the 15th, but again, I need some communication.
Yeah, we've got almost 3 weeks till the next meeting.
Is there any legal avenue?
We'd have to look at the contract, I don't know.
Well, if he has until the 15th to complete the work, then he has until the 15th to complete the work. And I
Correct.
don't know that you can like take a contract away from somebody until that date's passed.
But one of the requirements in that, I think in that thing, was that they were supposed to provide proof of insurance.
By a certain day though, or
I think so.
To probably be
I think they
to
actually.
even be eligible to win the bid.
I was gonna say, I would think that we would
Yeah.
ask for that when they're,
Right.
like, to make sure that they're a viable bidder, that you would
Right.
say insurance has to be submitted with.
I
If
think
it's-
in that process.
Well, I believe wasn't it like an afterthought, oh, by the way, they want it, but, they don't have,
I think they had an insurance certificate for general liability, and I think when they checked,
It's the workman's.
I think it was the
So-
workers' comp issue that was the problem.
Tell you what, we kind of shanghaied Mr. Jester's time here. If you want to bring something actionable to the meeting, I think we need to discuss this. I know till November 8th is less than a week before the 15th contractual date, but maybe November 8th we'll say, okay, yeah, we'll pull the contract. I don't know. But we can discuss all night long, but we're not going to get anything done until we have something brought forward.
Yep. All right, thank you. And my brain fun fire. General assistance. Have we gotten any kind of? That took a while to come up with. That was amazing. General assistance. Have we gotten any kind of traction on the reimbursements from the state? I know that we had requested previous individual to begin that process and to stay on top of that on a 30, 60, 90-day basis. Have we gotten any kind of traction on that? And if so, not looking for anything right this moment, don't want to put you on that kind of spot, but if we could get an update in a couple weeks, that would be fantastic.
I do not know what the status of reimbursement is.
Okay.
I know what the process moving forward will look like. That will likely be done on a monthly or quarterly basis. You can do it either or.
Sure.
It's really just a matter of developing a spreadsheet of cases that come in, and then on most of the time on a monthly basis, submitting that for reimbursement. That's something that I've worked with the individual, Hillary, who does general assistance upstairs. That's something her and I are working together on to greatly make that process more efficient.
Good.
And I will get you an update on the reimbursement status because I'm not sure where that stands.
No worries. My concern is there a point in time where you can no longer seek reimbursement? Is there a 6-month window? What have you? What kind of liability do we have for this year?
Right.
So that's awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. And you trying to come up with 2 very easy, simple words. Appreciate
Next
it.
time that happens, do what it sounds like.
You got a taser? Just hit it. At least I have an excuse when I go to just.
You all set?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Doc?
First of all, I want to thank the rest of the councilors for hitting on all the points that I wanted to ask about. So, no need to do that. My condolences to the Noble family. Also, I apologize to LNC. I understand my name's been bastardized more than once over the course of 75 years. And I really have nothing else except to appreciate the rest of the councilors' input, as well as the fact that the meetings have been productive and efficient lately. Thank you.
What's that?
That's it.
All right. And I'll use your line, so everyone else already brought up the questions I was going to bring up, except the GA. Just a couple quick comments. Nicole, it truly is good to see you back down here.
Thank you.
I really like having you sitting at that desk. And Doc, I went the whole meeting, I didn't mention Simply Palm once. Huh?
Very good.
How about that?
Very
It's
good.
not quite
We
Southern
just
Universe. Craig, good to see you back here. Not quite, is it? And the other question I had was the Public Works building, and I know it's been a burr on our saddle, so if you can bring something to council and something we can act upon, Jacob, I'm thrilled to have you here, and I'll say it till this time next year too, and even after that. So I appreciate the changes and the differences, and the feelings palpable. So thank you very much for sticking with us. And as I mentioned, the first 3 days kind of tenuous, so I'm glad that you decided to stick it out at least through the first week or two. Chief, I appreciate what you're doing with the police department. I mentioned earlier this meeting, you said it's not a big deal, but for this town, the parade, the tree lighting, the thing you have set up for Halloween, that's a big deal. I mean, that's a huge deal, and to have that kind of momentum build up town. So thank you for being the catalyst for that. I appreciate it. You've got a terrific cast of characters up there that work with you, so it makes a big difference, and it's palpable, and people see it. So thank you very much. That's really all I have. Jan, I hope you can get Bill here. That'd be great. Bill Booth. Did you reach out to him?
I did reach out to him.
Yeah.
He actually responded to me.
Yeah.
He says that he does come back to the area every once in a while. Have you listened to the music?
It's numerous times.
It's an interesting album.
Yeah. It's a great album.
It's I don't know, for those that don't, has everybody heard about it?
So
For those that don't know, it's Rivertown is the title of it, and it's got 12 or 15 songs in it about Pittsfield.
Local fellow named Bill Booth is from this area. He's a very excellent musician, excellent artist. He's been living in Scandinavia for 20, 30 years. He comes here once in a while. He said he released an album recently called Rivertown, and there's one title on there, Peltoma Avenue. There's another one called Wyatt Had to Try It. And if you're from this town, there's quite an infamous person named Wyatt. It's a great song too.
And something about a chicken.
It's about chicken. He references Don Fendler and the Baxter Mountain Range. It's an excellent album. So Jan kind of reached out to me. He'd be perfect for the summer concert series. I said, "You ever hear of Aztec Two Step?" I said, "Yeah." Well, Rex Fowler's also from Pittsfield. It's a lot of concert that would be.
He lives in Denmark or somewhere. So he doesn't come back on an annual.
Rex is stateside, but he's been out of state. But anyway, so that's really all I have for me. Thank you very much. It was a good discussion. I'm glad you thought of that. So with that, thank you everyone. And I do like the energy and the efficiency with the council. I think the input has been fantastic, very productive. So it makes life so much easier, and I'm looking forward to putting that right through the budget season. Absolutely. Right, Craig?
That's right.
Right, Craig?
That's right.
Right, Craig?
8:30, hard out.
All right. I look for our motion to adjourn.
Move adjourned.
Second. We are adjourned. Oh, now that we're off record, I just want to say the last 2 meetings were the greatest we've ever had. And I'm not going to equate that to you not being here. That would be way wrong. But one word, she At 6:30 we started, 20 past 7 we're done. I'm not hurt this before you did respond. I'll say you might as well take all the credit.
That's where
Well, I told every time I see town manager, I'm looking on that page. That's right, that's it. That's it.
Thanks,
That's right.
I was kind of thinking of it.
Yeah.
I
I had Steve in my, always good to see you.